Welcome to the Mindful Making video podcast. This is a podcast about knitting and about making and about yarn. Knitting is my mindfulness practice. That's where I relax, that's where I recharge. Knitting makes me calm and has always done, and especially during these challenging times, knitting is my go-to place where I can just sit back, relax, and just enjoy and be. Maybe that's also what you experience. I hope so. It certainly has some benefits in terms of that. This is episode number 21. Today we would talk about shawls, and there is another finished object, a little something, and then towards the end we can talk about sort of what has happened in life and so on. If you're a new viewer, welcome. This is my little place on YouTube. You've landed here in my home in Hornsby Heights, north of Sydney. My name is Jane and I am Danish, but I've lived in Australia for the last 8 years. Returning viewers, welcome back. It's so good to have you here. Så velkommen alle sammen. Jeg ved, der er en del danske strikkere, der ser med, så det er dejligt at have jer med. So that was just a short welcome in Danish because there are a lot of Danish viewers joining us. So I hope you have your project, maybe a cup of tea and a cup of coffee, So I hope you have your project and a cup of coffee or tea or a wine or whatever you like. I have a cup of tea. I think I've had 4 coffees today, so no more coffee for me, so it's tea for the rest of the day. And I have a lot of finished objects to share with you. We are now at the end of August. Today is 27th of August 2020, and it's probably been 5 weeks since I recorded the last podcast. So during that time I've had some extra time in my day due to a work redundancy. So although I've been busy applying and searching for a new sort of professional job, I've done a lot of knitting. So I will share some of the outcomes of that with you today. What I am wearing is one of my favorite cardigans. It's sort of, when you're at home, it's sort of the same clothes that is just in rotation. I don't use a lot of my clothes, so this one is what I wear quite often, and just with a merino top underneath. And now if I stand up, you would just, I don't know how that would work, but it's, if you can see, sort of buttocks length, very simple with some structure on the back. It's a Susie Haumann pattern designed by a Danish designer, Susie Haumann, and I'll put the details underneath because I didn't bring them along, but it's I think I made this 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it's just a 4-ply fingering weight pure wool, lamb's wool. And although this rolls, as you can see, I've just accepted that that's how it looks. This one I can't get this to unroll, but it's just how it is. I love just throwing it over my t-shirt or a shirt or something. So that's what I'm wearing today. Otherwise, I make sort of change out my outfits once in a while, and in between those outfit changes of outfit, I will put in some small video clips from a walk my husband and I did to Fagan Park, which is a lovely park area just just 15 kilometers from here. We went out there a few weekends ago just to get out of the house and just go for a walk, and it's just a very pretty place. So we'll put in some small video clips from our trip out there. Object. So this is the shawl I showed you in the last podcast. It is a very generous triangular shawl with sections of garter and stockinette, and then a lace pattern section. So it was already finished last time, and I said that I would create a pattern for this. And there's nothing that I rather would, but I had some problems with the lace that I have chosen. So this is a center spine, and because the number of increases and how this stitch pattern flows, it doesn't sit nicely with that center spine. So, let me put it that way, sort of like that. So you can see, and for me it was just, I couldn't get that to work when charting it up. So I decided to try and find another lace pattern that I could use, but then, basically re-knit this pattern. So now this will just be either mine, or it will be a gift for Christmas or for a birthday. So I try to stand up again so you can see this is very generous. And also this took up 2.5 skeins of yarn, and I wanted to limit the amount to 2 skeins. So I ordered some new yarn, but before I show you the next version, so this is iteration 1. This shawl I called Monteview, and if you want to see some of the details of the yarn that I've used, you can see it on the on my Ravelry page, which is called Mindfulmaking AU. You can also find me on Instagram as mindfulmaking, and I also have a Facebook page of that name. But on the Ravelry page, I've just mentioned the yarn that I've used, and of course there is no pattern. But if you want to see the yarn, it is from it's dyed up by Pirate Pearl yarn, so it's yarn from her shop. It's a 90% Polworth wool, so it's an Australian wool from Victoria, and then 10% silk. It's a gorgeous yarn, and it's bouncy, and it's deliciously soft, and it's warm and cozy, and not as shiny as a merino, I think. So I really enjoy this yarn, and the colorway is from her Star Wars collection, I think. So it's and I can't remember the exact name of it, but it had a special color number, and you can see that on Ravelry as well. So just a few comments on that. I really like this shawl. But let's move on then to the next iteration of this shawl. this is another shawl. So that's then the subsequent version. So this is, so you can see it's still the same build up of garter and stockinette sections, and then a lace section, and the same lace border finishes off. It is a shallow triangular shape, and it has this center spine down the middle back. So this is so I've called this the Solidago Shawl. It is currently being tested. So the testers are busy finding the small mistakes that I've made and where the pattern could be clearer. So hopefully this will be ready to be published around 25th of September. That's my plan. So I just need some photographs to be done and make the final edits of the pattern and then translate it into Danish. So there will be it will be available in 2 languages, English and Danish. The yarn I've used for this one is again the Polworth silk blend from Pirate Pearl yarn. The color is called Honey, and because of this color, when renaming the shawl pattern, I thought of mustard, I thought of sort of golden and golden hour, but that has been taken, that name. So Solidago is a scientific name for goldenrod, which is in Danish gyldenris. So that's a yellow, beautiful yellow flower. So I thought that would be the perfect name for this shawl. But I will tell you much more about it when it's released, so that will probably be at the next podcast. But if you want to prepare or may think of knitting this one, it takes 2 skeins of yarn, 200 gram skeins of a fingering weight yarn. It's worked on needle size 4 and 350 for the lace border. Choose a long cord, at least 80 centimeters, and using a circular needle to knit it up with. So that will hopefully arrive soon in my Ravelry store, so I will keep you posted on that. If you want to be, if you want to do any test knits for the future, send me an email on, not an email, send me a direct message on Instagram on mindfulmaking with your email address, and I'll put you down on the list of interested testers, and I will keep you informed when the next test might be up. So second finished object, pretty color, lovely size as well, and it's very easy to wear. Yeah. So that was finished object number 2 and shawl number 2. Here we have. But as I said, there have been extra time for knitting lately, and I've really enjoyed just sitting back and just a moment of cocooning into my own little world. And the next finished object utilizes just simple garter stitches. I had a time when, I guess it's just with the news flowing in, it's sort of sometimes a bit overwhelming, so I just wanted a very simple project that was just nice and easy. It just flowed and I could just be with that. So during the big wool show, which was so that was an online event, and when was that? That was late July. I bought yarn from a dyer in Perth, Western Australia, called Dyeing to Knit. Awesome name for a company, and I used this yarn to create a new shawl. So let me just show you. This is a Luscious Sock base, and this color is called, Almond Nougat. It's a 4-ply extra fine merino and 85% extra fine merino and 15% nylon, and approximately 400 meters in 100 gram. And then I have mixed it then with a mohair, which is the Dusty Rose, and that is a 72% super kit mohair, 28% mulberry silk, and it's a 50 gram skein with 420 meters in it. This is her logo and her label. She has an Etsy shop, or maybe, yeah, I think she has her own website where you can order from. Beautiful, beautiful, soft colored yarns. So this is then also something I tried out and just did, you know, asymmetrical, short rows, shifting into lace, and then finishing up with a lace border. Will this be a pattern? Hopefully it will. I must admit that I was a bit lazy with my notes when doing this. Sort of, you just knit along. It's very simple. It's where you can really relax and just get into the rhythm of pure garter. There are four pearl rows in this shawl, and they are towards the end, so they are quite long, but 4 rows of pearl. Otherwise it's just knitting, and I found it just so relaxing to do that. But if I just look at my notes, and as you can see, this was actually a shopping list. So these are my very sporadic and scarce notes of this that I need to make into something that I can read again and somebody else can read. So let's see how we go. But as I said, if you are interested in helping out, you know, with the testing of this, if that's something that you find interesting, send me a message on Instagram, or you can put it down below. But Instagram, send a direct message with your email address, and I'll put you on the list for future testing. So this is so 2 skeins of fingering, so the main color, the sock yarn, and then 150 gram of the lace mohair, sorry. Yeah, so that's another finished object, and I really, you know, it's a bit romantic and a bit sort of cozy and fine, but so I think the romantic part is just this short or this lace pattern. Otherwise, it's just short row shaped wedges and an asymmetrical shape and stripes of the sock yarn and the mohair. So each end is a little different to the other because there would be more mohair or more at the other sock yarn. So I think this is quite nice. Nice, squishy, soft, easy to wear, warm, cozy. That I have done is this little vest. Let me just see if I can stand up so you can see it. This is my version of a vest. It will be called the Little Wicked Vest, and it's named after the yarn. And the yarn is from Stitchcraft and Witchery. It's a DK weight. It's a merino. It's with a bit of cashmere and then some nylon. So it's a beautiful, bouncy, squishy yarn, super duper soft. It does grow a bit lengthwise with washing, but it's a DK weight, and I've worked this on needle size 5mm. As you can see, V-neck and fairly fitted. So super simple, classic vest, and I just wanted to let the yarn do the talking. So let the yarn speak for itself. So I think, with the calm stockinette and no fuss, that it actually works really well. Of course, you can do a more solid collar, but there could also be this opportunity to make something with a highly variegated hand-dyed yarn like this. So this is, I completely lost track of where I was. So the yarn, Stitchcraft and Witchery, DK base, and the color is Jittery Little Wicked. So I thought, let's call it the Little Wicked Vest. So it was quite difficult to say, but it's quite funny as well. So I wrote up the pattern, did the grading into sizes extra small to extra large, and I thought that would be my initial, and then of course I also wanted to be size inclusive, and then now we get into a bit of dilemma that I hope you would help me with, because as I said, I do want to make larger sizes, but I also acknowledge my own limitations in understanding, you know, grading, especially for larger sizes, and where I think this type of vest wood is suited for bust darts, and I don't know how to do them. So my dilemma is whether I should release or publish a pattern that is sort of up to extra, maybe 2 extra XXL. And then, you know, when I have done the larger sizes and understood more on measurements and bust darts and construction, that I would then add that to the pattern at a later release, or whether I should wait and release a full size range at once. And it's just that, you know, I really want to be able to be inclusive in the patterns, but again, as I said, there is so much to learn that I also acknowledge my own limitations and sort of stepwise that I learn along the way. So what do you think? Should I release and add larger sizes later, or should I wait and learn quickly and create a full size range pattern for this little wicked vest? Let me know in the comments below, or find me on other places on the internet and send me a message. I would love to hear from you what you think. So I've basically been working on my own designs or my own ideas for a long time. So I wanted something where I didn't have to think, I didn't have to note down numbers and note down notes along the way. So I decided I needed to do something different, and I have embarked on the journey to do the Merino by Caitlin Hunter. Beautiful color work, and of course this is this is a black and white printout, so you can't see the beautiful color work in detail, but it's color work, it's lace, and it's a bit of structure down here. So I thought, oh, that's just what I need right now. And in this pattern there's something that I don't understand, because the gauge is a 20 stitch gauge on needle size number 3.5 millimeters, so US 4. I would not be able to get that gauge with that size, and then if I should get a 20 stitch gauge, I would need to at least go to size 4 or 5 millimeter needle to sort of to match that gauge. So my gauge is off. My gauge is 23 stitches and 34 rows instead of 20 and 24. That means that I've gone up 2 sizes to get the fit that I think would suit me. So I am making a size 4 in this pattern, so that's a 44 inches bust, and I'm usually a size 40 bust. Having said that, I totally enjoy the project. I am using these colors. So I am holding these 2 grays together. This is a coast yarn, a light fingering cotton wool. This is a very thin, almost laced weight cashmere thread that I've had. These are stashed yarns, and this one is then my color work yarn. It is from Union Fiber, and it's a color called Pinot, and that was a color that I used for my Flusy cardigan. And you can look up the details on that color on my Ravelry page as well. But I will also put the Miserina project on the Ravelry page, so you can check it there as well. So I hold these together, and then this as the for the color work. And let's just see. So this is how far I've come. I like it. It's a, my family say, what colors are those? That's a bit of an odd color combination, but I really like them. And with the contrast color being a bit more shiny, I think that actually enhance the visibility of this beautiful color work. So I'm really enjoying this project. As I said, this is worked on, no, I didn't say that, I am on a size 4mm in the color work, and in the, where I've just worked with one yarn on the main color, it's a 375mm. I haven't tried it yet, but I think it looks okay, and it's all right if it's a bit generous in size and with ease. So maybe this will be done next time we tune in, and hopefully, yeah, much more to share with you then. Miserina, that is basically the only project that I am working on at the moment. My husband has asked for a new jumper that he wants me to make, but something I need to learn as well. He has found a design that he really likes, and there are some technical things that I need to learn before I can make it into a pattern, so that will take a while. But otherwise, that's my knitting story since the last podcast. We probably all have been making, in this time, you know, have been sewing face masks. So I've made mine, which looks like this. They are a bit tight, and of course, then I didn't have any elastic for the ears, so this was the only thing that I had, and so this is how it looks. And then I went down to Spotlight here in Hornsby, and they were completely sold out. I will go back in maybe next week to see if there are more. So this is the Japanese sewing pattern. So I've made 2 for each family member. They sit quite well. I'm the only one who has decided for a bit of pattern. The rest are black. Basically, that's it for today, knitting wise. So what has happened in sort of private life? Well, not much. It's basically the same. I've had some extra time off because I'm now a month into being without my professional job. So there are extra time in my day. The house has never been so clean and tidy. And although it's, you know, I've applied for some jobs and I've been called for interviews, nothing has come through yet, though, in terms of being the successful candidate. I'm practicing the interviewing skills. And what has been interesting over this last month is how different the days are. You know, sometimes I'm just up and motivated and happy and productive, and then there are other days where I just basically can only sit on the couch and knit and watch some Netflix movies and totally wasted. Otherwise, not alcohol wasted, but just tired and probably a bit disencouraged, if that's even a word, maybe disappointed of the situation and just putting myself down. But I've decided this is an opportunity to, you know, to get my house in order. My word for this year was simplify, and I'm sure, yes, it is, I think I got more than I asked for. So I will try really to enjoy this time. Certainly it will end, and I will be back into full-time work as well. So I'll do plenty of knitting. I would go for walks. I would enjoy the sunshine. I would hopefully publish more on Instagram and do a bit more on sort of community and getting a knitting community and getting to know you all. And so please send me messages, and you know, let's hang out. It's sometimes it can also be a bit tiring just running around in your own headspace all day and just talking to yourself. So please reach out and let's connect over the socials. And finally, if you like the video and want to know when the next video is up, subscribe and also click the little bell so you get a notification. Please just leave a message. That makes it all worthwhile. It's quite interesting sitting here talking to the camera, and the best thing is to get some feedback from you guys, and that just warms my heart. So thank you to everybody who has already done that, and please continue doing that. It's highly appreciated. So with that, I will leave you for now, and I hope you've got some knitting done, and then I will wish you all a good next few weeks until we see each other again. It was lovely to catch up with you again. Bye bye all.